Well, fuck. Well, guys, if you came to this video and you expected me to rant and rave and throw stuff and yell, you might get a little something today, but I let most of it out during the game. Game ended maybe 5 minutes ago, and this is as pissed as I've been about a game in a long time. And as usual with most things like this, 10, 20 minutes later, it's over, and you're done, and you're looking ahead to next week. You're on to, in this case, Arizona. But right now, I'm pretty aggravated, and I'm going to talk about this and something that I see might just set me off. So, where do we begin with this one? I'll start with the defense. You know, I feel like an asshole. I'm sitting here, I'm going to complain about this defense, even though the defense only gave up 16 points. And, you know, on a day where the offense did nothing in the first 25 minutes, really, it almost seems unfair. It's like we're expecting too much of these guys because they're so good. It's like every time there's a single bad play on the defense, I want to get up and yell at somebody about something. Because they're the guys who have all the all-pros. They're the guys who are making all the money. And even on a day like today, where the Rams scored 2 touchdowns and kicked a field goal, I was just like, you know, this isn't good enough. No sacks on Case Keenum. Playing a Rams offensive line that's really not very good. No turnovers. More on that in a second. Against a team that is starting Case Keenum and has very limited talent at the wide receiver position. And the end result is what it is. The defense wasn't able to help the offense out by forcing turnovers. They weren't able to kill drives with sacks. They got pressure on a couple of plays, and repeatedly Case Keenum was able to escape pressure, something that Wilson could not do all day. So I'm watching our offense and I'm watching their offense, and I'm like, what are they doing that we're not doing? What else? You know, penalties. Mainly Cliff Averill had another offsides penalty today, and I know this video is going to be kind of all over the place, but I'm just pretty aggravated right now. He had another offsides penalty today. I think that's like his 3rd or 4th in the last couple weeks, and you know, we already have one guy who jumps off sides too much on this team, Michael Bennett. We don't need another one, so knock that shit off. I don't want to see that again. But really, the game, it turned on the long drive that the Rams had in the 3rd and 4th quarter. They fumbled the ball twice. They put the ball on the ground twice. Bounces around in our secondary, where all of our Pro Bowlers are. Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Bruce Irvin, all of our great players, a whole bunch of them in the Pro Bowl. A couple of them don't deserve to be in the Pro Bowl, but they got in anyway because they have that great reputation. And twice they fumble right into the teeth of those guys. And it's recovered by the St. Louis center, who is one of the slowest guys on the field. That's bad luck. That's shit luck. That's horrible luck. You could run that simulation 100 times, and we'll probably getting the ball at least once on 95 of them. I get that. I understand that fumble recovery is heavily based on how lucky you are, so not going to slam anybody too hard for that, but you know, that was the chance, and the fact that that was the only chance we had today is frustrating, because other than that, you know, we never really put any huge pressure on the quarterback. We didn't get that close to picking off any passes. Kelsey McRae had a chance late in the game, but couldn't come down with it. Other than that, I mean, you know, the defense, I guess they played well, but they didn't strike any fear into this Rams offense. It was a very vanilla game. I mean, the Rams, they only gained 207 yards of offense in this game. Case Keenum threw for 100. They ran for about 100. And normally I would say we did our job, but no sacks and no turnovers against a team starting Case Keenum is... They played well, but I have to say, I don't think they did their job. But I can't get that mad at the defense for this game because, again, they gave up 16 points. That would be good enough to win most games. Bobby Wagner played a good game. I thought KJ Wright played a pretty good game. Richard Sherman gave up the touchdown where he just got embarrassed on, but other than that, he played a pretty clean game. I can't get too mad at those guys. And now I got to look at the offense because that's really where the frustration has to be right now. I mean, this offense reverted back all the way back to week 1 today. It was the same stuff. The only difference between this game and the week 1 game was Doug Baldwin playing like a monster, like he has been the last month and a half. Nothing else carried over. Other than that, we may as well have been back in week 1 when we didn't know what the hell we were. Offensive line, I spent a lot of time talking these guys up the last month and a half. Today, they reverted all the way back. 4 sacks on Wilson. It could have been a lot worse. There was pressure every play. I know the Rams have a good defensive front. I know they blitz a lot. I know they have a good defensive schemes, but, you know, the offensive line, they get Fs across the board, especially Alvin Bailey. And Alvin Bailey, fuck that guy. I hope he's in Cleveland next year. I hope he's rotting away on that shitty team in Cleveland next year. I don't even want to look at that guy right now. With the way he's been acting and the way he played today, get the hell out of my sight. Yeah, whole offensive line, terrible. Patrick Lewis not snapping the ball right. He missed 2 big snaps in this game. Both led to big losses. One of the worst games they played all year. And, of course, it would come against this Rams team. But the thing is, the Rams, they have all this defensive talent. They have a great front 4, even without Robert Quinn. They're not that good at stopping the run, and we could not run the ball on this team. We ran the ball for 60 yards today. One of the lowest totals we've had in years. I know we're down to our backup running backs, but the offensive line in run blocking today was absolutely atrocious. And this Rams team, they're not that good at stopping the run, so that's a huge, huge red flag. Russell Wilson obviously was playing out of this world the last 5 weeks. Today, I just thought he was okay. I don't care about the pick. That was an arm punt. That was 3rd and long. Just throw up a Hail Mary and see what happens. The pick does not matter to me, but all the times where he ran into the pressure, again, reverting all the way back to week 1. Back when, you know, you see the good plays. You see the good stuff he does. The touchdown to Baldwin is awesome. Some of the scramble drill plays he hit. Obviously, the one to Jermaine Kearse in the end zone, the game was over, but still a good play. You see the other good plays he makes, but so many times today, instead of stepping up into the pocket or escaping out through a hole, he just ran into the pressure and got himself into more trouble. I don't want to see that again. I saw that enough earlier this season. I saw it a bunch today. I hadn't seen it hardly at all the last 5 weeks. Other than that, I thought he played fine, but all those sacks he took, all those times he ran backwards, playing right into the Rams' hands because of the way they play defense, you know, it can't happen. Wide receivers, obviously, Doug Baldwin continues to tear it up. He had a monster game. Cooper Helfett had a drop, but he came back, playing for the injured Luke Wilson. Had a good game. Jermaine Kearse on a milk carton for 55 minutes, shows up in garbage time. Tyler Lockett went out of the game for a bit with an injury, came back, looked fine. Not a huge game for him by any means, but he did some stuff in the return game. Yeah, it's... Again, they have a few good plays here and there. They have a few good plays that are just enough for them to put up a few points. And then, at the end of the day, it comes down to... Can you get lucky at the end of the game? That's what we reverted back to today. That is what we cannot have going into next week and the playoffs going on. So that's this game. Fred Jackson, I'll give him a shout out on offense as well. Him and Doug Baldwin. I mean, Fred Jackson's an old dude. We should not be asking that much of Fred Jackson at this point, and I thought Fred Jackson played a good game. He did everything he could in this game, I thought. Also, the fumbles. Obviously, I complained about us not recovering fumbles on defense. The two, bad snaps by Patrick Lewis, they're basically fumbles. Then you have Russell Wilson fumbling at the end that basically ends our chances when he should have just run out of bounds. Derek Coleman, or it might have been Tuku Afu, I can't remember, fumbled, gets returned for a touchdown that ends up being the difference in the damn game. I don't know. This game, the way it played out, the way things went as the game went along, made me as mad as I've been in probably since the Dallas game last year. Good news is all the other good teams lost today too. The Patriots lost, the Panthers lost, the Steelers lost. Not that the Steelers are that good, but they were supposedly the hot team. So, it's just one of those damn days, but today sucks. I don't know how else to put it. A lot of bad luck out there with the two fumbles being recovered by the Rams center. I didn't appreciate the way the game was called either. But at the same time, you got to play better. And today, especially the offensive line just played like absolute shit. And that's something that makes me wonder if this team can go anywhere when we do get into the playoffs. So, to speak on that, we're still in the playoffs. And honestly, the way Green Bay played today, I don't know if playing Green Bay in the playoffs is that bad of a thing, if that's what we end up having to do. So, still in play. We can still play Green Bay or Minnesota, or we could play Washington. And right now, there might not be a great difference between those three teams. Washington's been playing really good lately. Green Bay has played like shit. Minnesota, we've already done some pretty dirty stuff to those guys in their house. So if it comes down to that, whatever. But hopefully this is exactly what we needed going into this playoff game. Because, it could wake the team up, let them know that they need to play better from here on out. But I don't totally want to buy into that kind of stuff. You got to play well going into the playoffs, and we certainly didn't do that today. Other good news, we're not going to play the Rams in the playoffs because this team, they do everything right when they play us, apparently. They played well today, too. I got to give them some credit. They managed the game on offense, and their defensive line played A+, but still got to put some stuff on this offense. All right, I'm out. I'm going to get over this one quickly because we got an important game to watch in half an hour here with the Vikings, and then not feeling great about next week, especially now that Arizona has something to play for, but we're in no matter what. So see you guys later, and today, not awesome.